everyone, and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be sublimating this frosted beer glass. You may recall this was in a recent sublimation trend box from JP Plus. I'll have this linked in the description below along with a coupon code 9PSR5 that will save you 15% off your order should you decide to order one of these. But I haven't done a frosted glass project on this channel yet, so I thought it was time to do this. And there are some tips and tricks that you're going to want to follow if you're going to be sublimating the glass projects. So as always, the very first thing we do is spray it with some Windex, some rubbing alcohol, some denatured alcohol. I've got denatured alcohol, and I just sprayed it, rub it with a lint-free cloth, make sure that it's dry, there's no fingerprints, anything like that. I did this prior to coming on camera, but I want to make sure that this is completely dry and free of any oils, lotions, anything like that. The next thing I did was print my design on the Sawgrass SG500 printer. That is my favorite sublimation printer. You must use sublimation ink and you must use a sublimation blank for this to work. This is not going to work with an inkjet printer. That's the #1 question I get on almost every video. So I'm going to take my design, and of course, when I printed it, it mirrored. It automatically does that in the Sawgrass software. But if you have a different type of sublimation printer, you want to make sure that you're mirroring those images for this application. So I'm going to put the print right side down on my glass, and I am just going to get it nice and snug, try to get it straight. There are some beveled edges here, so you might want to work around that a little bit or plan for that if you don't want it to go up around those edges. I decided just to try to keep it on the flat part, just to keep it a little bit easier. You're going to use a little bit of heat transfer tape. You don't want to use regular Scotch tape, that will melt. I love this tape dispenser. If you guys haven't seen this on my channel already, it is so nice because you just turn this black knob and it automatically cuts your tape for you. And it holds both the large, well, let me show you just a second. Let me get this on here. Again, you want to make sure that that print is nice and smooth against that glass. But just to demonstrate this, you turn the handle and it automatically cuts the tape so that you can just easily grab it. It holds these large rolls, it holds the wide ones, the medium ones, all of those, and it's just super handy, makes it much easier. So you want to make sure that you've got this nice and secure. You don't have to tape it crazily, but I want to make sure that those ends are not sticking up. All right, so I have preheated the mug press. I'm using the Walla mug press. This is my favorite mug press, also linked in the description below. I've preheated this to 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 100 seconds. So I've already set my settings. You want to put this when you're using the glass. You don't want a high pressure that could actually break the glass. You want it a medium to light pressure, but you need to make sure that it's making complete contact with your image. So I'm going to take another piece of butcher paper and just cover this up a little bit. And I think I'm just going to add a little bit of tape to that just to make it easy. You don't have to put tape on your butcher paper. But I want to make sure that I protect my press from any ink that might be bleeding through. So I'm going to place this inside the press, making sure that my image is completely in there and making contact. I'm going to go ahead and close the press, and you see how easy that was. This is a very light pressure. So again, we're going to go 375 for 100 seconds. You want to make sure that you've got some heat gloves for this project. It is going to be hot when it comes out of there. The other thing that you need to be aware of is never ever take a glass project out of the heat press and dunk it in water, which I know we do with a lot of our sublimation blanks. You don't want to do that with the glass. It will crack it, just like if you take a hot coffee pot and put water in it. You don't want to do that. So make sure when you take it out that you let it rest. Also, the color may be off while it's hot. So what you see when you first reveal it might look a little bit different once it cools off. So if it doesn't look quite the way you planned, it's just the nature of the frosted glass. You also need to be very careful that you don't scratch it or anything. That frosting on there is very, while it's hot, is very easily disturbed. So while it's hot, you want to make sure that you're not trying to scratch it with, you know, your fingernail or anything, trying to get that tape off. So be very, very careful. So there's, you know, there are a few workarounds or a few tips that you need to follow when working with these glass projects. It's not like your ordinary sublimation projects. So I'm going to put my gloves on. I like this particular set of gloves just because they're thin and it's easy to feel your project. Some of them are really thick and it makes it kind of hard to manipulate. So let's see, how much time do we have left? 7 seconds. We're almost done. And again, my color might be off when we do this reveal. We'll see. But will change once it cools down. So let's take off our butcher paper. And again, I'm being very careful not to disturb the frosting while this glass is still hot. So let me see if I can get this tape off. Here we go. There we go. So very, very cool. I like how this turned out. It is, I don't drink beer, so I didn't do a beer can emblem. It does look like I could have gone ahead and taped better around the top and the bottom. Again, these edges are beveled and I went right up to that edge, so I have a feeling it wasn't making great contact. But overall, I love how this turned out. And again, the colors may continue to develop a little bit as this cools down. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got some tips and tricks when you're working with frosted glass. Be careful of that frosting while the glass is hot. Don't over pressurize it. Don't put it in water until it's cool. And keep in mind that the color may continue to develop as the cup or the glass cools down. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to click that bell so that you're notified every time there's a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, never stop making. See ya. Bye-bye.